Welcome back to GT Recrafted. The early 2000s was an incredible time for the Australian automotive industry. Performance cars weren't just alive, they were thriving. FPV Falcons, TRD Orions, Rally Art Magnas, and of course Holden and HSV pushing the limits of what an Australian muscle car could be. And from their stable, one car stood out, the Holden Monaro. What started off as an after-hours passion project by the workers of Holden quickly turned into one of the most iconic sports cars of that era. And whilst the production car was special, motorsport was also at its peak. That's where Gary Rogers Motorsport comes in. They quickly decided, we're going to turn that car into a purpose-built race car designed to take on the likes of Porsche, Ferrari, and Lamborghini, amongst others. Today, we're going to recreate that car in Gran Turismo 5. Let's build the Holden Monaro 427c.
So I've already gone ahead and bought the Monaro in anticipation for this build. So you can see here, stock power, 317 horsepower. It is a 5.7 litre V8 LS with 332 foot-pound of torque. Weight is 1,658 kilos. So let's jump into it now. And we'll go and save it. And let's get straight into the tuning. Back here in the hybrid builder, so let's load the car. We're actually going to be using two different tools today to get a little bit more accuracy in the build itself. Firstly, we're going to choose a suspension. The 427c was actually more closely based around the V8 supercars of the time. And the closest car here we have with the V8 supercar suspension is the actual V8 supercar that Gran Turismo has in game, which is the Ford Falcon XR8. Yes, I know, purists, Holdens, Fords, rivalry, blah, blah, blah. But technically speaking, we're only using the suspension setup anyway, so it's not like we're actually using a Ford part. The next part is the engine. Now, the engine itself was exactly what's in the game, which is a Corvette C5R. So let's go to Chev and C5R Corvette. There you go. And then we're going to go down to the gearbox. Again, same thing. We're going to use the Corvette gearbox. It actually used a 6-speed Honda sequential gearbox in real life, but the sequential in the Corvette itself is going to do just as well. It's still a 6-speed and it is a sequential, so we're going to use that as a supplement. Okay, and for this particular section, we're pretty much done. Again, we'll enable all tires. We're not going to do anything else right here for the time being. A lot of this stuff we're going to do in game, and we're just going to hit hybrid. Okay, so now we're over here in the GT5 garage editor. So the reason I'm in this one here is because there's a few extra parts that we want to switch across, more so for, I guess, the sound of the exhaust than anything else. So in this particular editor, this is actually an older editor too, but I find it's got a lot more useful features than the other one does, or a lot more intricate features, I should say. So click on riding car. What we're going to do here is we're going to choose the car that we want to steal the parts from. So in this particular case, we are using the Chev. And we'll go back to Chevrolet. And again, we're going to go back down to the C5R. This is automatically our car here. But one cool thing you can see here is this is all the hex details for the hex value, so I should say, for the parts. So if we go down to engine, and it says here, engine 0000674, here you can see 674. That means that the modifications we've done in the hybrid editor have actually taken place. So we can see that that's actually already working. But what we want to do is we're going to click on a few things here. So one, we're going to click on LSD, and you see that change over there. We've already done the transmission. You can see that's already there. Drivetrain, I'm going to leave it because we are going to use the Monaro's drivetrain anyway. Chassis, I'm not going to change that. Brakes, we can change the brakes, I guess, to the Corvette's brakes because it's probably going to be a little bit more similar to what they ran in real life anyway, which was 8-piston brakes. And now we're going to go down to this section here. So we got flywheel we're going to leave. We're going to leave the clutch. We are going to take, and the exhaust is what we're going to take as well. That's the most important one here. So it's going to give it that racing exhaust. Everything else, we are going to leave it because everything else is pretty much as standard anyway. So one last thing I'm going to do, this is something I was going to show you in the last video, but if you click on functions over here and you go down to name changer, this actually changes the name of the car, how it appears inside the garage, I guess. So it doesn't appear really anywhere else, like it doesn't appear in the race or anything like that, but definitely in the garage. So if you click on Holden, you click on Monaro here where it says it. I've already got a Monaro, but the last one down here is the Monaro that we want to change. You can already see that I've changed a few cars here before in the past, but if you click on this one, and we're just going to go and rename it, off the caps, Monaro 427c. And click apply. And change was successful. Okay. And then this one, you actually have to close the app to make it effective. So close garage, and then I will see you back in the game. Okay, so we're back in the game. I've already added the additional parts that we needed in game to build the car up to where it needs to be. So I'll show you just now exactly what I have added, and then we're going to go ahead and change the appearance. So if you go over to items, if you have the GT5 master mod and have selected all the items to be added into your inventory, then you'll have access to some of the hidden items that were cut from the game. So what I've done is I have added the window weight reduction. I have added the stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 weight reduction. And if we go down to engine, the only thing I have added is the ECU. I have added the racing catalytic converter, and I have added the racing air filter. I haven't added anything else. And obviously we have the exhaust carried over from the C5R during the hybriding process itself. Go down to drivetrain. I've added the carbon fiber drive shaft. We've left all of these. We've added the triple plate clutch, and the rest we have left. So if we go back over to the garage, and if we hit tuning, all I've done here is I've gone over to the body and I've added 51 kilos of ballast, and in the engine, in the power limiter, I've reduced it by 0.9% to bring it down to 700 horsepower, which is the exact power to weight ratio of the 427 in real life. So let's get out of here. Let's go over to GT Auto. And so what we're going to do firstly, we're going to give it a new color because the 427c came in 2 colors in the Bathurst 24 hours back in 2002, which was the red and the yellow. And we could leave it in the yellow, but I kind of like the red better. So let's go down, and super red is probably the closest red that you're going to get to what the original one was. Right, that's looking good. Let's go over to the wheels. So the wheels that I think look best on this are these, but we're going to paint them. So we're going to give these a splash of black. And let's just go to black. All right, that's looking good. And then the last part of the puzzle is the rear wing. And the closest you're going to get to what the actual 427 had in real life, I think, is the Type B. I mean, you can choose any of these. I think it's going to make no difference whatsoever to the performance. But, you know, I think the Type B is going to look probably as close to the original as possible. So let's add that. And let's take it to the track and give it a bit of a test. So here we are in Circuit de Valencia, and this is a PS2 track, so it may not necessarily look of the highest of quality, but you know, that's the sport for an Australian car. This is as close to an Australian style track that we've got in GT5. So let's just see how this goes. Definitely pulls a lot harder than this standard car. Handling is very tight. Braking is great. Power delivery is nice and smooth. Too much downshifting there, and we've lost it. The acceleration is very rapid.
And there you have it, the Holden Monaro 427c in Gran Turismo 5. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next one. And in the comment section down below, let me know what you want to see me build next. Until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.